Yo, welcome back to another episode of my show. As always, we are presented by Passion Park ENT. You know what it is. I am glad to be back. I have been gone for a little bit, and I'll explain why and get into all that as at the start of the show. But before always, the quick announcements that I want to get to are, first of all, I got a brand new little EP project out. It's got 3 new songs, so please go check that out. Go to www.thedavidlopez.com to find all my new stuff, or just search me on Spotify, Apple, whatever it is. Just search David Lopez at _David Lopez on all the socials. You know what it is. Go to www.passionparkent.com to see all of our newest content on the homepage right away. Usually a new podcast and a new song pretty much every week. Podcast for sure, trying to keep up with that. And then some other form of content I'm trying to get to right now, planning some new stuff as always. But appreciate all the love and support we've been getting. Stay tuned for more. As always, let's get into the show.
David Lopez is the name. It's my show. Welcome to it.
I didn't even mention those announcements that the new project is called The Connection. It's a little 420 loud pack, you know what I'm saying? It was I had planned this out for a long time that I was going to release a little, at least one song, but I was trying to release a couple songs that were just straight up weed smoking related for 420. So no matter what, I had that plan, despite any life circumstances or anything else that I had. We took a little time to get the correct mix and master in for one of the songs, specifically the Connection, the lead song with Joe Bianco. Shout out to him. We just had to get everything right. There's a lot of instrumentation on that and had to get the mix and master right. Shout out to Sean Kimsey on the master. Think it sounds really good. Appreciate everybody who's been supporting and playing that already. For real. It's 3 songs, about 12 minutes. Perfect for like a short, quick session. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna have to have a quick little session right after I record this. And I'm probably not going to pop it on, but I have popped it on for like a perfect amount of a blunt and like a personal dome blunt. And it's like almost lines up perfectly. So there's my suggestion for your next session. Go check out The Connection. You know what I'm saying? So this is a week and a half since I've done the podcast, almost 2 weeks, I think. Most of you, if you know me personally, if you know me via social media, if you follow me, anything like that, you probably know, or you might have an idea as to why I didn't record an episode last week. Well, there was some family stuff going on. So my grandmother passed away. Who on Monday, April 12th, peacefully in her sleep in the morning. Nonetheless, it was still very hard, very emotional. It's been a pretty tough week. I think on this show, I've talked about her kind of a lot, which I kind of am happy about now. I look back and like, definitely brought her up. I mean, and that's honestly, that's just natural. That's because I was really close with my grandmother. Like, I don't know if you could tell that from any of the stuff I had been talking about, how I get to go see her at the hospital. And I think the last time I had talked about, like, thank you to all the nurse people. And I still mean that because they really helped down the stretch for this. It wasn't exactly expected. It wasn't exactly unexpected. Like, she wasn't doing great, but there was still a chance it could have been a lot longer. No matter what, it's, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been sharing love and sharing support. And I've heard a universal thing from a lot of people who I imagine have gone through something like this. I haven't really, I've been lucky. I've talked about this before, like when my friend Brandon passed away before, like I haven't had a lot of loss of life in my life, thankfully. But particularly something like this, like a family member who I was so close with, like your grandma is a different relationship. And that's what a lot of people who have dealt with this or gone through this have told me that specific thing to kind of deal with is like they know it's a very special bond. It's a very different relationship, the one you have with your grandmother. So I'm taking it day by day. I'm pretty much getting emotional every single day throughout. It's like comes in waves, But like, the thing I told my mom, and I've got to spend a fair amount of time with my family during this, and that's, if I can give one piece of advice, and one piece of advice that's been given to me by, shout out to one of my best friends, Frankie, and happy birthday, Frankie. His birthday was this week. Was just like spend as much time with family as you can during this, because it's it's a different time. We're all gonna remember it, no matter what. It's something that we all go through, just death, really. And I wanted to make sure I was present and not like present, like emotionally, spirit, like everything, just like there for all the moments and really soaking in all the moments, so I have vivid memories of the whole process. And like I put together the picture boards for all that, and it was part of my grieving was to do that. And and anyways, what I was gonna say is I don't have I was talking to my mom about is I feel good about that. I don't really feel like I have that many regrets as far as like I made a lot of efforts to see her. The pandemic, the regrets I have are pandemic related is we couldn't see her as much that last year, but I made a lot of efforts over all this time, and as she got older to see her, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure I wouldn't have regrets when this day came, like that I would have that I know that I gave an effort and I tried to help her out as much as I could because of how much she helped us out growing up. She was like always there every day. Like everybody who knows me growing up like knows my grandma because she was such a big part of my life. And she helped my parents like be able to have their full-time careers because she watched us every day. So, I don't want to do a whole eulogy, whatever. I spoke at her funeral a little bit briefly. It was really hard, it's really broken up. But I do want to say thank you for all the love and support. I guess if I'm sharing any piece of advice to anybody who's still got their grandparent or any family member out, like around still, like, because I want to apply the same thing that I applied to my grandma to my dad and to my mom. It's like, I don't want to have regrets. I want to make sure I see them enough and make the efforts. That doesn't mean you still have to live your own life, but like, just, make an effort. Like you don't get that time back, and you don't want to have that regret, I guess, of not being like just not focusing on your family for a little bit, whatever that relationship may be, and take it for what it is. But yeah, that's what I've been going through, and it's been honestly, so I didn't do the podcast because, well, obviously it was just a whirlwind of a week. We had so much going on last week. But what's been good for me to like not think about this and go through it is like just focusing on my music and like mixing, and I've been doing all that. I've been mixing the new album, which I think is almost done. I think I got the final mix / master, but I don't really know. It's hard to know. It really is, because especially when you're going through it for so long. But that's been really nice to get away and just really dive into the work. And so that's been good. And I'm glad to be back doing the show, though. I love doing this podcast. I know it's a short, brief time. It's like 15 to 20 minutes to work on every single week, but I really enjoy it, and I enjoy talking about sports. And it gives me a bigger excuse to watch all these NBA League Pass games that I watch every week. I would probably be watching them either way because I love, hoops, but having this show to do every week, it gives me a kind of excuse, especially now as we're going to have a kid coming around. Gives me kind of an excuse to be like, I'm doing work. I'm taking notes on the games, And also to go with the note, to go with the first opening segment about my family stuff. I put it on my Instagram, but it's just like, this isn't something planned. Obviously, we had the first baby shower for my wife, for us, this Sunday, and that was obviously a planned date. There's no way to know when somebody close to you is going to pass away. But my grandmother passed away the week that we were beginning the celebration of new life in my family. And I don't want to get all deep in whatever spiritual, whatever it is, man, but that is just a real circle of life-ish, like just real. It was obviously we're doing a lot of grieving, but there's a lot of joy too to come with this new life. And so it was important for my family to have that too, to kind of cap off all this. And, we're going to day by day, we're going to miss my grandma, but we're going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. We got to keep it moving. And with that saying, we're going to keep the show moving. And let's get into some sports. Ooh, wrong switch there. I just played the outro beat. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. But yeah, thanks again. So now let's get into some brief NBA stuff, and then some like what to watch games and stuff before I get out of your hair. Gonna be a quick episode. Well, gonna be a normal length episode. You know what it is. So the past week in the NBA, we're down to like 15 games left in the season for most teams, so we're really spicing up here towards the playoff race. Next week, I'm really gonna break down some potential playoff matchups, because I think we're getting to the point where we can kind of really look at some of those. But there's also, the play-in tournament that's happening. And I'll tell you what, the potential play-in tournament matchup that I really like is Warriors-Mavericks. There is a real shot of this happening on the West in Western Conference. And it kind of sucks because that means that one of the teams, well, unless they can get 7 and 8, one of those teams might not make the actual playoffs. But to have Luka versus Steph in that would be really good. And with that said, we got to talk about this incredible run that Steph is on. It's must-see TV. Now, last night was his first off night in a while. I think he only had like 18 points. And they still should have won because Draymond, they should have passed the ball to Steph at the end after they stole the ball, and they could have won. If you didn't see that finish. They were down 4. Steph hit a layup. They stole the ball. And then Andrew Wiggins missed the layup to tie the game, and they lost. But anyways, Steph has been on this incredible run. It's must-see TV. It's the kind of TV where, like, I don't care what team you're watching, the Warriors are, like, have to be your team. Like, if you like watching basketball, he's on one of those runs that, like, he's not missing shots. He's so confident. It's cool because he's not on a good team. You know what I mean? Like, so he has to do everything. Like, they actually need this from him to perform. So it's like Steph in his career, not that he's reluctant to shoot, but he doesn't like being like a selfish, like, he doesn't like being a ball hog, I guess I would say. It doesn't seem like he does. But he'll take the shots when he's on fire and shit. But this season right now, this run that he's going on, he just knows, like, I have to score 40 for us to play. And he is just on an incredible tear. It's great to watch. He just lit up his brother the other day. And so that was fun. Now, like I said, the Warriors are not a very good team, I don't think. So I don't think they're anything to be reckoned with in the playoffs. So my bet that I put in last year of them winning the finals is not going to come through. But mind you, I made that bet when Klay was not injured. So come on, give me a little credit there. But anyways, it has just been awesome to watch that again. I mean, like, so I heard something I was listening to there comparing this to like that Kobe run where he was averaging like 35, where that season where he averaged 35, but the Lakers sucked and they don't even remember if did they make the playoffs and whatever. That was the crazy year where he scored 81, all that. You're comparing this to one of those Steph years. The cool thing about Steph, he's the greatest shooter of all time, right? The way the game is, the way they kind of are tailoring towards shooters, they're allowing everybody to get their I think Steph really should be this good for a fair amount of time. I don't see why his game would decline dramatically. The only thing, I could think would be, if his quickness, if he loses a step, but he's such a good shooter that no matter what, he's going to get a step on most defenders because they have to respect his shot. I just think he's going to have an extended prime. It might not be where we're at now. This might be the peak. I mean, this is what's crazy. He's a 2-time MVP, and we might be seeing the best he's ever played right now. And that's really kind of wild to say, but it's how good he's playing right now. He's just out of his mind. It's cool seeing these kind of like legends and like, we're watching one of the best players ever, one of the most skilled players ever. We're just watching him in his prime. So it's cool getting to see that. But now will it all come together next year with Klay and stuff? I'm hoping that it is. And I'm hoping maybe this Warrior team has one more long run in them. But this year it's just a fun, it's the Steph show. It's the Steph show. I think he was out last year. They didn't get to go to the bubble. They were out so long. He's just reminding everybody this is like, remember, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on. But then on the other notes, as far as the kind of the rest of the league goes, Bulls wise, I'm always noting Zach's been out COVID protocol for the past week. Bulls lost by 15 to the Cavs yesterday, but they're losing by 30. They're outside. They're on the outside looking in as far as the play-in games go for the playoffs. It's pretty disappointing, the record that they've had since the trade for Vooch. They had the most impressive win of the season with Vucevic against the Celtics and with Lavine not playing. And then this weird story comes up. Now, I shouldn't say weird because it happens all the time when a superstar gets hurt or something like that. Zach Lavine gets hurt. Bulls win 2 games without him. And then all of a sudden people are saying, are the Bulls better without Lavine? They're moving the ball. These guys are scoring. And then that whole theory was completely put to rest when they were down by 30 to the Cavaliers. Like, are you kidding me? What happens when a superstar goes out is the bench players and guys who are not of the same talent caliber get a little jolt because they're like, hey, I'm going to get some shots up. I'm going to get to play. I'm going to get some run. Like, so they get a little jolt, and those guys play well usually for a little bit. But what happens over time is talent shows up. When you get rid of one of the best talents, I'll just say in the league, he was an all-star, that doesn't make your team better. It just doesn't. It does not, and that argument does not fly, and it was put to rest with that terrible Cavs loss. But it's just so funny how we're so instantaneous with our takes. Especially, I was having this conversation with my wife. I don't think anybody watches anything. I'm sure I've said that on here before, but I don't think people really watch shows. Now, maybe that's myself included. You're on your phone and stuff. But I don't think people really listen to music that much. And, of course, that's me saying that because I'm like, you got to listen. But like, when it comes to basketball and stuff, these guys in the morning making these takes are not watching these fucking games. They're watching highlights, maybe the quick version. But when you watch the games, you get a feel for it and you actually can know. So, like, if you were really watching the Bulls game, you would know, like, yeah, they look good, but they don't have it. They don't have, like, it's just, whatever. They're dumb takes, but there's a lot of dumb takes out there. And That was me just saying, back in my day, we would play ball and we wouldn't talk about it. I'm becoming an old, bitter man. Anyways, we're going to get into all the playoff matchups next week as we get real close to the play-in tournament and the NBA playoffs. I'm excited. Let's talk about a couple games we got to watch, and then I will get out of your hair. Okay, so tonight we got a good one. Bucks Sixers. That's the early game on TNT. These are two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference right now. Sixers, Ben Simmons is a game time decision, trying to see if he's going to actually end up playing or not. But I think, the Nets we haven't really got to see as a whole. Right now, I'd say the Sixers are, the best team of these. I still keep picking the Nets to come out of these because I just can't imagine if they have all those guys that they're not going to. I'm starting to doubt a little bit more whether or not they're going to have all those guys. But if there's any question, I do think the Sixers could make the finals. I actually think, now I already said Lakers Nets was my finals pick, but I really see a world where it's a Sixers-Suns finals. Like, I really mark me down for that. Not a bad idea to put a championship bet on either the Sixers or the Suns. I could see it happening. I think they both have the makeup and the drive to do it. Chris Paul wants it for the Suns, and I think Embiid just looks like the MVP, man. He looks really good. But I think Jokic is going to win the MVP. I've loved watching Jokic. I really have. But they're not going to make as much noise without Murray. I just think that goes back to the conversation we were having earlier. They might finish off the regular season undefeated, and people are going to say they're just fine without Murray. But when it comes to the playoffs in a 7-game series, you losing a talent like him will show up and will play a factor. And look, they're not winning the title without him. It just is what it is. And I like the Nuggets. I really do. I've been watching a lot of them. Jokic is so fun to watch. Okay, and speaking of that, we got Warriors-Nuggets Friday night, so that should be fun because they're both fun to watch. Steph, like I said, must-see TV right now. You got to watch him, and the Nuggets are always great to watch. So Jokic for Steph, I'm all in for that tomorrow night. And then Sunday, we got Suns versus Nets is the Sunday 2:30 ABC matinee game. So I like that. Suns-Nets. Like I said, never know who's playing for the Nets. Do not know, but that's a good matchup to watch. Other thing I'm going to quickly note is how good the Knicks are playing right now. I think they've won 8 in a row. D Rose is on a good team. He's playing all right, but Julius Randle is like, we'll get into more MVP conversations, I guess, when we get closer to the end. He's not going to be an MVP, top candidate, but he is playing amazing, and that Knicks team is great. And I don't know if I said this or not, but like, I'm not Thibs. Look, we had him here as a Bulls coach. This is what he does. He makes solid talent teams very good and capitalizes on all the talent they have and gets the best out of them. It's just what he does. So shout out to Coach Thibs. He should win Coach of the Year. I'm sure, maybe Monty Williams for the Suns might get it, but I think those two, man, they got to be up there. So shout out to the Knicks, shout out to Thibs, shout out to D Rose. You know what it is. Those are some of my what to watch games. I'll probably place some bets. My bets, I got to be honest. So last night, I'm struggling. I'm on a struggle streak for the bets. Last night I had a 3-way parlay. I thought I was about to hit it all. Nuggets, I had them -1.5. They had to win by 2. Minute and a half left. Tie game. Jokic splits the free throw, so they only hit 1. And I got to tell you, I knew right there. I was like, they're going to win by 1. And what happened? They win by 1. I am just on a tough streak with that. But whatever. You know what I'm going to do? I'm probably going to still make more bets tonight, guys. This is what I do. It's fun. I don't know. Also, make sure you go check out my new EP, The Connection. Like I said before, some of my homies got some new music out too. So make sure you go check out Julian Xavier. Got a new joint called Franklin's. I was really fucking with that. That was another 420 drop. And then Brad Varsity, frequent frequent guest of the show, has got some new music out that's really blowing up, doing numbers. So shout out to those guys. And make sure you check out The Connection. I'll be back next week. As always, I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the listens. I appreciate all the support. I really do. It's from the bottom of my heart. I feel like anybody who listens to this show kind of knows me and knows me maybe even better than some other people. So like a little family, a little group here. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting. You know what it is. Passion Park, baby. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. One love.